And it looks like we're on the internet. Hi, everybody. I'm your Dungeon Master, the Dungeoneer. Joining us tonight, we have Ceramic Owlbear, Health Pack Stream, and Dix. And we are... Man, I hope I got everybody's handles right, because I'm seeing a lot of different names, and I'm doing some of this stuff by memory. So if I didn't, we're going to fix it later. But in the meantime, we're still doing Pungen's Planeswalkers, a drop-in serialized game fashioned after one of my favorite TV shows, Sliders. And we're going to see if we can make some stuff happen. We're going to start the game off with a limited D20 roll, because only Duck and Duck, our Gnome Ranger, and Petra, the half-elf paladin, were here last time. So they get to do the D20 roll-off to see who's giving us a recap. And it's over to Tur. We had two sessions with CB. Nook. Korath. Griffin. Yeah. This is very true. You covered everything. That was really well done. And we may not see Korath again. We don't know what happened to him. He just hummingbirded his way into the scary fog and disappeared. So, this brings us up to the next day. Well, not the next day, but that same time. You've just been locked in the cells. Meanwhile, in the gambling tent, once the fog had settled in, Maladrak and Minkor, who had been just enjoying the carousel and the hoopla and the darts and the food and all the wonderful things that could be had here, saw the fog coming in and the panicking of the people, and guards started directing people towards the big top and the gambling tent, depending on which side of the carnival they were on. Minkor and Maladrak were close to the gambling tent and got herded in there for safety. At which time Minkor started talking about his two friends and where people were looking for, and the Barker has had his attention drawn to Maladrak and Minkor. The Barker turns to Maladrak and goes, "So you say you have friends here. What do they look like? Where are they going? Are they like you? Like you?" I got it wrong. Thank you, but that's totally cool because. Don't have anybody like that, but you know what? I'll check with the guards and see what we can do. And he goes and turns to one of the guards, and they start talking, and one of the guards leaves. In the meantime, you and there was a little kid here just next to you a moment ago. Was he yours? I mean, he didn't look like you. Oh, well, all right then. Anyway, as I was saying before, we could really use somebody like you working here. I mean, especially in these current circumstances when everything's just going bananas. That's the problem. We don't know, and most of these local yokels are, well, they didn't walk in armed. You're one of the few people that brought in with your own arms. I mean, everyone's got their own arms, but you have actual armor and arms and whatnot. And look at the height of you. Boy, you're a big fella. Those are some... if you could go and do some looking around with our guards and did just any problems that you happen to notice, just bring it back or take care of it or whatever, and there's money in it and free rides on all the things for as long as you like. At that point, a guard comes running in and just kind of whispers to the Barker, and the Barker looks at, really? Oh, all right. Well, let's take care of that then. He goes, as it turns out, we have found an Earth Ganassi and a half-sized person. They're in the security tent, right next to us. As it turns out, we can get around to them quite easily. They appear to have been part of the problem, setting tents on fire, as it turns out. So, and he escorts you over to the security tent, where you are met by. There's a couple of guards. You see Petra and Tur in a cell, just locked up, kind of sitting there, and this big, burly, like Andre the Giant looking guy, just like leaning up against the back of the tent. He's got his back on a pole, and his head's kind of resting at the crossbeam, but in the corner of the crossbeam. And he's like, yeah, so get it. And he's talking to Tur and Petra as you walk in. I get it. You're setting a fire because there's a bad guy in the tent, and you didn't want to go in the tent because it was dark and scary, and you're trying to help, and you set the fire, and then everything's on fire, and we put out the fire, and that's now you explain it. It seems like you're not in charge of the scary fog, so... And he turns over and sees the Barker walk in with you, and the Barker turns and goes, as it turns out, they're going to be helpful. And he looks down at the Barker and at Maladrak, and then the two of you, is this true? You're going to be helpful now? And the head of security, he looks down at the Barker and goes, you cleared this with Marjorie? And the Barker goes, look, Boldus, it's not a big deal. I mean, I had some extra funds. You know, I'm in charge of the financial part of things. It's totally cool. We're going to send them out. They'll take care of the problem. Marjorie we don't need to, it's not her problem. You know how she doesn't like to be bothered with these things. He goes, no, I'm not okay with that. They have to go and talk to Marjorie first. I mean, why don't we just send them looking around? If they want to go talk to Marjorie, they could go talk to Marjorie. I just don't want to go talk to Marjorie. You know, the last time I was there was a little scary, and I don't feel comfortable with it. Yeah, you're never comfortable with anything. And he digs his keys around. He starts unlocking the cage and swings the doors open and goes, all right. Like he said, your friend said, go be useful. Find the problem, put a stop to it. Don't set any more fire. So as you're walking out, the Barker points to the tent right next to the security, where there's this big sign in front of it that says, Oracle, Diviner, Seer. And he goes, that's Marjorie's tent. Feel free to go and talk to her. She usually knows what's going on. I'm sure she'll be expecting you if you're going to be going there. And if you're not going there, then she won't be expecting you, because that's how she does things. At any rate, I'm going to go back where all the other people are and try and keep a lid on things. You know, what I mean is keep people calm. And, yeah, okay. And he just starts walking away. You can literally look from where you are to the ashes of the funhouse. There's just, like I said, a few cracked and shattered glass frames where the mirrors were. There's some metal pieces. There's a lot of wood that's burned down. The tent itself is collapsed in. It doesn't look like there's much going on. You can see that the fog that had spread across the circus area has now extended out and is just surrounding the perimeter of the circus, including up and over, obscuring the night sky. Throughout the entirety of the circus, you can just make out circus music going on quietly in the background. Okay, so I'm just gonna dial the music back a little bit, but it continues circling through this creepy carousel music. Head over to the Ashes of the Funhouse. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fog is no longer in the middle of the circus. It's just around the edges. You start going through the ashes of the thing. Almost immediately, you're just full chimney sweep mode, covered head to toe in ashes. But as you're sifting through, you do manage to find a small agate earring. No bones, but you found somebody's lost earring. Yep. And a trap door underneath the platform of the funhouse tent. So there's a bit of a platform. You found a trap door. Underneath the trap door is just like a more solid, thick wood frame. And peeking down under it, it is dark, but you do have dark vision, so you can make out that it's just like there's some gears and little, like all the little jiggly bits that you would use to shake the floor, but there's also a crawl path underneath this. Quick check, 50 GP. It's made out of gold, and it's like a nice, well polished agate. So what are you doing now? They did. They did. So where are you headed? All right. Okay, so Petra's headed, or Tura's headed into the crawl space. Petra, Maladrak, what are you doing? All right, so everybody's getting into the crawling space. It's only about 3 by 3, so it's very cramped quarters. As you start crawling down, how are you going to ensure that? Standard trapdoor, flaps all the way open. Plenty to pick from. Yep. Okay. So you stack some rubble on top of this trapdoor, and everyone climbs down. You start climbing around, and you're noticing like the gears underneath that they look like they were powered by like something. There's ropes attached to pulleys. They're attached to more angles and things that would shake the floor. There's waffle bits where like it's like lever action and just like it's weighted by the person that's stepping on it. You're crawling underneath all of this stuff and looking around it. This is like more of a maintenance crawl space than anything. You start crawling through, covered in ash at this point. Make a good full circle, and you find on the far side of the tent an exit from underneath the funhouse, and the path also continues again, going into another angle of the funhouse. So it's like a big concentric circle underneath. You either have a chance to exit out, or you can keep looking. For your tracking, give me survival roll, please, Tur. It looks like there's been a lot of maintenance going on underneath here, because there is a lot of tracks, and it's hard to tell exactly which one's doing what. So you continue to spiral around through the maintenance crawl space in the funhouse. Give me perception checks, each of you. Okay. Nothing stands out to you. Maladrak, you find a gold piece as you're crawling around. And Petra, you find a toolbox stashed in a corner. Yeah, so there's this. It's a canvas toolbox with like really rigid sides, and inside there's literally like a bunch of maintenance tools, hammers and wrenches and chisels and assorted other pieces that you don't really know what they're for, but they look related to the things that are around you. Crowbars and that sort of thing are in there as well. All right, so you found this Dungeoneer / maintenance kit, and eventually you come back around to almost exactly where you started, passing another exit just as you do, as you come back towards where the trapdoor was. So as you come out from underneath the funhouse, the ashes of the funhouse, the music gets louder and louder. And I need everyone to make a charisma saving throw. Okie dokie. That's fair. So it's odd, but the music is kind of calming, a little bit enticing. You feel a faint draw towards somewhere, and then you shake your head and it passes. You're like, ooh, that was almost putting you to sleep on your feet, but not quite. All right. You cross over to the Oracle tent, and just as you're reaching it, the curtains on either side of the door swing open. Yeah, sure. Just come on in. There's tea waiting for you. So you walk into this dimly lit tent. It's fairly high. It's hanging with scarves and tapestries and little like frou-frou knitted lacy doilies are covering almost every surface of all these very comfortable looking large chairs. In the middle of the room there's a small table with 4 chairs around it, and there's a teacup sitting in front of each of the chairs with fresh tea steaming out from it, and coming from behind an alcove is this little old lady. She's got a hood that just almost covers whitish hair. It's just like cut in bangs across her eyebrows. Her eyes are this lovely violet color. And she goes, "Oh, it's so good of you to come in. Just there's a little broom just next to the if you could just dust yourselves off a little bit. I know ashes can be such a hardship, but just hoofta, you're just dirty, aren't you? Let me just take. You know what? I'll take care of it for you, darling." And she comes over and just kind of like runs her hands, just like as if she were reaching out to touch your aura. Just runs her hands from head to toe over each of you, and the dust and ash just whoosh, fades off of you and falls to the floor. And then she just like bends over and does the little dust broom and sweeps it all up and puts it in a corner. "Oh, that's so much better. I just don't want any stains on the furniture. It's so hard keeping things clean. But I tell you what, them fancy fingers, they sure do come in handy. Why don't you just come on down, pick your seat. I'll sit wherever you don't want to." "Oh, no, we've got at least 20 minutes or so, yeah, before everything just starts getting a little more shaky." Okay, you take a seat, and the tea cup that you've sat down in front of has exactly the right amount of milk and sugar in it. Just the way you like it. She goes, "What?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Marjorie Anders.
I don't use any of those fancy madam things or anything like that. I'm just a humble fortune teller. But welcome to my tent. You're very welcome. We've got a few minutes that we can sit and talk before things get really dangerous outside. So we'll get you sorted out and answer your questions.
So, as you sit down, you've got Maladrock sits down. There's tea in this cup, and it smells really familiar, like just a really lovely scent of like this hot beverage that you used to make. And she goes, okay, well, you just do what you're gonna do there, honey. Just mind the vase to your left. She says to Tura as she comes over and goes and sits down. So, questions, right? I know. I can only have. I've only got answers. I've got time for four questions that I can give you time and answers for, and then then there's going to be a problem. So, yep, that's just the way things work. I'm sorry, I can only answer questions that are asked of me. I can't just. It's the rules. We all have little rules that we have to live by, and boy, I tell you, sometimes it's just such a pickle. Oh, that's a clever question, but the thing is, it's not going to cost you anything. I have an obligation that I have to live up to, something of a contract, and we all have, the things that we have to do. But don't worry, I took that totally into account, and I can say one other thing for you, darling, is you don't have to worry about what's going on at home, okay? It's going to be just fine. Things are going to work out. And you'll have a chance to get back there and solve the problem that you were looking at. I mean, books are forever, right? It's delicious.
She turns and looks at her. You can't insult me, darling. I know you can't help yourself. Just go ahead and say what you have to say. Well, that's part of my problem is I can only answer questions. I can't take direct action. Well, like I said, it's in the contract. We all have rules we have to live by. Oh, don't you worry, but that is 2 questions. We've got 2 left. Oh, you don't have to worry about that, honey. You're not dying today. Well, you're not dying today. Oh, all you have to do for that is just follow the music, honey. Oh, he'll definitely send you away. Oh, I'm sorry. You've already asked your 4 questions. I've given you the best answers that I can. I do want to tell you though. She looks around and she's like, "I'm pretty sure I can say this without. The dragon's not going to get away. I mean, you're going to have a chance to deal with that. You've got that on your plate. And oh, and honey, that little boy, he came in here a little while ago and I sent him home. I hope you don't mind." Oh, no, no, no. What? No, no, no. He asked how he could get home, and I told him, and so I'm assuming that he just headed off on his way. He seemed like pretty happy about it.
She looks up for a second, and her eyes just like fog over with this glittery gold black light for a moment, and she'll say, "No, no, no. He's having dinner right now. No, he's fine." And I've answered way more questions than I was supposed to. Oh my, have I got a talking to coming my way? I can see it now, and oh dear. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Be on your way, and when you see the snake, look for both heads, okay? Okay, you kids have fun. As you turn to go, give me a dex save, please. No, just her. Yep. You turn, and just as you turn, you remember what she said, and the vase is like right in front of you, and you just sidestep and walk around it. She goes, "Thank you, dear. He's very thoughtful of you." Okay, come by when you're done and say goodbye. I'll have a treat for you. That's the goal I was looking for. I just thought, who's the best possible oracle to have? And I'm like, a little old lady from Minnesota. That's who the best possible oracle is. So you were in there for about 15 minutes, sitting and talking and doing the. Do we ask a question? We really ask a question? So things should be starting to get sketchy within the next 5 minutes, according to Marjorie's prediction. All right, so marching order figured out. Tur in the front, Petra in the middle, Maladrak in the rear. You head out, and where do you head? All right, give me perception. It's definitely coming from the direction of the big top. So as you start heading out towards the big top, you're passing the high striker. You see nobody's there. Passing the darts, there's nobody there. The bounce house is empty. As you start getting closer to the ladder climb, you hear a slight slithering sound. Come on. Really? That's it? Okay. The game is fighting me. So you get to the ladder climb, and give me perception again. Okay. Maladrak, amidst the ropes and ladders and strings and the foam pit or sawdust pit of where people can land, you do manage to just make out the head or a head of a large snake. And when I say large, what I mean is giant. And when I say giant, I mean 3 feet across at the head. Large enough to swallow your friend Tour in a single bite. All right. Tur, are you taking any preparatory actions? Okay. And Petra, are you taking any prep actions? Yes. Yeah, no, it's still good to go. Ability checks. I can't get a 2-headed snake, so I've got 2 1-headed snakes. All right, folks, we're at initiative because as you're preparing, a second head slithers around and appears just shy of where Petra stands. This thing is a lot longer than you might have anticipated. And I got a 10. Maladrak is up. Okay. That's not going to hit. Nope. That is not a hit at all. Oh, we'll get the... There we go. We'll do it that way. Okay. I forgot to give the other head its own initiative. Oh, wait. You know, I'm not going to do it that way. There we go. So that was Maladrak. Snakehead 1 is going to strike at... Who's closest here? It looks like it's Tur. It's a 22. Nine piercing damage, yes. Second head strikes at Maladrak. 19. That is 7 points of piercing damage. That takes us to Petra.
14 is a hit. That does hit. All right. So mostly it's slithering up and out of this sawdust. It was filling the ladder area. Tur. I will color code them for us. Red and blue. Yep. All right, you are point blank, which means disadvantage for a ranged weapon. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's a hit. It's just a hit. 12 is the number. Yep. No, don't boop. Alrighty. Mm-hmm. Upgrades. As you... And it constricts you. It wraps itself around your lower legs, bludgeoning you and crushing you for 13 points of damage. And also, you are now grappled. Nope. Mm-hmm. Was that before the attack or after? Oh, good. Good. Well, Maladrak, you're up. One of your friends is now constricted by this snake. Okay. That is a miss. Yep.
All right, anything else? All right. Next turn. The blue head is going to bite at the Maladrak. 11. That's a miss, I think. Okay. And Tur, you are currently restrained, not grappled. Sorry, you're restrained. And it is going to attempt. Not much. So the grapple you can escape from. So your speed is 0. You can't you can't do anything with your speed, and you can attempt to break out with a DC 16 on your turn, and attack rolls against you because you're restrained, which is separate from being grappled. You attack rolls against you have advantage, and your attack rolls have disadvantage. You also have disadvantage on dex. Yes. So, you're going to be squished. It's going to attempt to squish you some more. That is an out cold Tur. With like sickening cracking sounds, the snake like slides like another coil around Tur, and you just see all the coils tighten in, and there's like a sound. Not this turn. Oh yeah, no. When it's your turn, yes. When it's your turn, you will have to. Petra. Mm-hmm. A little fast on the trigger. Both. So if you cast a healing spell on her right now and it brings her into positive, basically she'll wake up with however many hit points you heal her on. There's a separate spell for stabilizing. Yep. So you can, if you're out of things, you can just stabilize her so she won't bleed to death. But since she's in danger of just being crushed, healing her is probably your better bet. No. Yep. You can always cast your spells at a higher level if you have the spell slot available. Oh. Alright. Tur, it's your turn. You can try and make an attack, or you can try to escape. Or you can do something else that doesn't involve moving. Oh yes. No, this is a huge beast. Sure. Give me a survival roll. Sure. Yeah, do that. $17. You remember that snakes get sluggish when it's cold, and they tend to bleed when cut. So I'll consider that a bonus. Do you want to try and break free, or do you want to try and attack? Correct. Nope. No, bless is. All right, athletics. Nope. Even if. Nope. This is you trying to muscle your way out, and it's got you wrapped up pretty tight. You're like, you can swing your arms, and you're like trying to push yourself out. It's got you constrained from like the rib cage down at this point. You know, like you can try, but it's really tight, and you think you might have cracked a rib. It's very uncomfortable. Maladrak. Go for it. Oh, not quite. You're like, you hit it with the flail, but it's like really like hard steel cable muscle. It's like thunk. Made a nice meaty sound, but did not do anything else. All right, and it is going to strike at you. $17. And the other head is still constricting Tur, so it's going to do another constrict. 14. Which I think is probably a hit. But we'll wait for her to get back to find out. In the meantime, Petra. Yeah, you had healed her for, what was it, 7? So she had 7, she took 13. She is out cold again. Oh, right, okay, I'm going to look her up right now. Luckily, I can view all the characters on D&D Beyond. Armor class 12. That's a hit. So Tur, you got constricted again. You are at 0 once again. You're unconscious. Now you're awake again and hurting a lot. Okay. Yep, you can easily cut through the tent. Hop over the table. Mm-hmm. Tur. Okay. Athletics. There's a popping sound in your hip, but you managed to slip yourself up and out of the coils. You hit the ground, it's like everything hurts. There's cracked bones, stressed muscles. You're not in a good way, but you are free. Well, yep, absolutely. Draw a weapon. That takes us over to Maladrak. You can interpose yourself, absolutely. There you go. Go for it. you like cave in. You cave in like half the snake's face. One of its fangs breaks off, and there's like it's still like one eye staring at you, but it's reeling. It's almost been completely crushed. All right, give me an intimidation. About 1.5 feet. All right. Yeah. So the snake faces off, and the head that you just bashed in strikes at you. 14. The other head was still focused on you, so it's still going to bite as well, and that's a 10. You managed to take that one on the shield, blocking the attack. It's the snake. It's done. Petra. Okay, you're going to want to read that spell, because if it does not understand your language, or if the command is directly harmful to it, it's not going to do anything. It needs to be able to understand you. It's an aminal. It's a giant snake. To be fair, all right, go for it. All right. Okay. What's the save on this here? I guess I'm asking, what is your spell save DC? Okay, so you've given it your command. Anything else you're doing? It's not going to do anything until it's its turn. Okay. Tur. Okay. And you. Okay. So you're using a minor illusion. It's if the creature uses its action to examine the center image. Okay. So we'll see. You can't roll much lower than that. All right. So that was an action, bonus action, move. Okay. And what's your bonus action and move? Are you staying put or are you moving? Yeah, you're still in melee range. Okay. Maladrak, you're up. Nice. All right, you smash this your flail into the other side of its head, basically just crushing it into a scaled baggie of salsa. There's not much left. You've mushed that head fairly thoroughly. Okay. All right. The snake. The half that you crushed, the head that you crushed, slowly starts becoming less scaly. And pinkish and human shaped until what you're seeing is half of a body of a person stuck to the back end of a snake. So there was once a head, there's now like half of a person there. The other half turns and starts leaving the area, dragging this stunned looking boy with one arm and one leg attached to the back of the snake, just dragging him away. And he's like blinking and just like a confused look on his face. There is a boy that's like attached to the back end of the snake. However, Tur and Maladrak have attacks of opportunity on the snake as it leaves. Those are both hits. So we got 2 and 9, so that's going to be 11. So that gives, there we go. Okay. You both managed to land fairly solid hits on it as it's going away, narrowly avoiding the body of this boy that's getting dragged along behind it. And he starts waking up. He goes, "Wait, what's going on? I don't understand. Where's the music?" And he just kind of falls unconscious. I believe we're at Petra. The snake is still. It's still snacking. Yes. It's headed to the swings. right, go for it. Nope, you're in range. Yep. That is a hit. Okay. Tur, you're up. It was moving slower because it was dragging this child. Groovy. That is a hit. Yeah. You hear a loud thump and like little sparks of electricity just tinkle out along the edges. The snake. It's not doing well. It's like badly bruised. You can see like you've cracked its rib. You like dented it in. Done like you can see it's starting to bruise up. But you hitting it and the command coming to an end, it turns to strike at you one in anger. That is a 13. Does a 13 hit you? That's 11 points of piercing damage. All right, Maladrak, you're up. Yep. Yeah, there's a platform because the ladder climb has that incline and it's got a set of stairs up the one side. So you can like run up the stairs, get a nice flying jump, and come down on top of this thing. Give me an acrobatics first. Yeah, nice. Yeah, managed to get that picked up nice and high. And you can add a d4 to your damage on this if you hit. That's it. Yeah. So you come down, legs straddled, and just like boom, the flail hits with the whole weight of your body behind it. You just see the head of the snake just cave in and then almost practically melt away underneath you. And as it melts away, it reveals the form of this little blonde-haired girl in a little sundress holding on to this little boy's hand. And they're both just like, she just blinks up at you and goes, hi? The music, and then a man, and then I'm sleepy. Can I go to bed soon? And she starts like just like drifting. You can see her eyes kind of roll up into her head. Yeah, they're both out cold. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you so Petri, you run over, you stabilize the children, and within moments, you can see that they're kind of bruised up and battered, but they're not at death's door. Okay. There is no snack. You look, you go over and you're like, as these thoughts are going through your head, you're checking them over for injuries, and you open the little boys missing his two front teeth. They're just gone. You're not sure if that happened recently or if it's just. It's gone. You cannot. It's alright. Happens. Alright. You manage that within just a couple moments, picking the children up, and it's really, the guard tent is only like just around the corner from you. You rush them back, and the guard takes, oh, thank you, that was really well done, and oh yeah, we'll take care of them. And he takes them into the security tent and lays them on a cot, and you can return to the group. Do what now? Oh, all right. Be safe. You look fine. Actually, you're doing well. All right. Managed to catch up with them with no trouble at all. They're just kind of hanging out by the swings. There is still music playing, and it's gotten louder now that you've cleared this area, gone past the ladder climb. In the distance, you can hear like drum beats getting added in. You can almost see a faint breeze rippling the tent from the big top, and as the breeze brushes one of the opening drapes open, you see flashes of color and lights from inside the tent, accompanying the music, swaying and pulsating with the drums. Aside from the music, it is eerily quiet. Like there is nothing else happening. There is a stillness in the air, but just this music coming over everything. And you can feel the pull, that slight fall asleep, come in, relax vibe, but you fought it off before, and you've steeled your will against it, so it's not influencing you, but you can feel that little draw and pull. All right. As you peek inside the tent, you can see that the big top, it opens up into a large foyer that curves off to the left, announcing with freak show banners and monsters galore, pictures and paintings on the canvas of the monsters that you'll see in the freak show, with little headings underneath saying, "Your safety is guaranteed. None of these creatures can harm you." And it goes off to the one side, but bobbing around the top of the tent are these floating globules of light that are pulsing in a soft prismatic color, changing with the tone of the music. And just at the edge, you can see somebody slowly, almost zombie-like, walking in, swaying to the music, just turning a corner as you peek in. Give me perception. You did a quick glance. Yeah. No, none of them were. The ones that you did pick up were see the amazing mini sphinx. The clockwork owl will amaze you. Take a drink from our keg robot and fear the flumph. Flumph. Yep. Give me a quick history check, Tur and Petra. You remember that just on the other side of the ladder climb, there was a potions vendor that had magic potions that you could not afford. All right, as you get there, give me an investigation as you start going through this potion vendor's stock. Mm-hmm. All right, so going forward, we're going to do this one of two ways, of individual or team. And see, this time you guys went with a team, so I'm doing accumulated DC. And yeah, you fish around for a little while and you end up finding like a lockbox underneath a tarp in the back, inside of another box. You guys fished around a little bit and you find the box that she had showed you earlier, saying that there were potions inside this. And opening it up, you do in fact find a rack of 8 potions of 2 different types. There are 4 healing potions. Yep. And 4 potions of fire resistance. No, there's 4 fire resistance and 4. Yeah, sorry, it's not the first level healing. It's the second level healing. Can't remember what it's called. Yes, lesser. Thank you. Yeah. Double checking. There we go. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. 44 plus 4. Yep. I'll just type it in. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Honestly, 8 gold pieces for like 1,500 worth of potions is an insult anyway, so. Yep. Look, we're doing y'all a favor here by saving you from whatever this is. Yeah. Go for it. Two fire and 2 greater. Nice. All right. What's your cap now? Okay. Mm-hmm.
how are you entering? Are you going through the main entrance or are you searching the tent? I mean, some of the fog is really kind of preventing you from cutting all the way around the back. Yeah. Transition. Gotta go back and get your characters. There you go. Yeah, that's curtains, and then if you like peeking under the curtain is storage area, and then looks like solid wall, at least 4 or 5 foot high on the other side. It's like you're looking at like the back and the underside of bleachers when you look under the tents on this side. Okay. Give me stealth then. Yeah. So as you pull the curtain aside, it catches a little bit, and you give it a bit more of a yank, and then your fist hits this chunk of wood, and you hear a something. You knock something over on the far side, and you hear like a crack and a crash, and then a little. It does. It keeps going. So there's a curtain right in this area here that he had pushed back. So you can only see to the curtain, and there's like these dancing lights above your head. So on the other side, as you peek in, you see something struggling, this weirdly feathered but reptilian form, like struggling out of like a broken container, and it's got these little thickly clawed arms. It's about the size of a turkey, with like a lot of sharp teeth, and it's like trying to push its way out of this cage that you just knocked over. Yeah, so right across from it, there's another cage that has another matching creature, another creature. Just on the other side there, there's another creature, and it's making the same squawky noises. So it's this oddly like feathered reptilian creature. Like I said, this is about 3 feet tall. With just like it's not really got wings so much as like really long pinions at the from the elbow, and it's like one is really colorful, the one that's inside of the number 2 area, and there's a more tan and brownish colored one that's like moving towards it. Yeah. Yeah.
So as you watch for a second, the one comes over close to the other one and starts like rubbing its face up against the cage and like trying to like just stick its head through to rub up against the other one. So you slowly walk into the room, and the one looks over at you and makes like a sound at you. It just kind of like postures a little bit in front of the other cage, but doesn't approach you. All right. So as you look around, there is this weird jellyfish-like thing with two antennae. It's like pasty white with like tentacles hanging underneath it, and it's floating around inside this really large cage over here. In this area, there is like a corgi-sized woolly mammoth. Yep. Over in here, there is a cryosphinx. Again, like just like German Shepherd sized. So it's got an eagle head and wings, but like lion body, and it's sitting very still, just staring at you, and it cocks its head over to one side. Over here, there's this large water-filled tank. It's 30 feet long and 10 feet wide and 10 feet high, and there's a single dolphin just swimming in circles back and forth inside of it. In here, this tank is also filled with a clear liquid, and there are like shiny gold fish swimming in perfect synchronicity in a circle. And standing over here on top of a single like hat rack is a brass and tin owl. It's like clicks its eyes loud enough that you can hear it, and hoots, and it's like and looks at you. So that's what you see in this room. Okay. So you start making your way through. So you make it all the way around to this corner here. None of the animals all just like sit calmly in their cage. And you notice as you're walking through, they all seem really passive except for the one that you knocked over. And they're all just kind of like rocking back and forth ever so gently, almost in time with the music that you can hear. The only ones that stand out differently than that are the gold fish and the brass owl. They just looking around. Their movements are sharp and jerky, but all of the organic creatures are just zombieing out to the music.
With your knowledge of beasts, you can take a look at the beasts and see if they're real. Otherwise, it would be, I would say, an Arcana check. Yeah. So you can use survival or no history on beasts or Arcana on the more arcane creatures. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hard to say. I mean, the polymorphs that you've seen so far have been really convincing. So they're not responding to common. Um, they look like animals. I mean, the dolphins, and I mean they're all just kind of like swaying back and forth, so they don't really respond when you interact with them. You can try. Nothing happens. Yeah, as you watch them, they are swimming in the exact same pattern, and you get a closer look at them, and you can see actual where their gills would be are actual little gears that are spinning as they swim. And as you get closer, you can actually make out the smell of oil rather than water. And you notice that there's no plants in this. It's all decorated like glass and stuff like that inside the cage. They're swimming around in essentially machine oil. As you turn around the corner, you see uh, a dragon. It is gold, and it's just pacing back and forth in this sinuous pattern inside a cage that takes up pretty much the entire like back half of this area. It fills this whole area, this large cage. But again, as it's walking, you can see gears and hinges, and it's all been done mechanically, and it just walks back and forth. All right. As you turn the corner, you see another large robot-like creature. It looks like a human with a huge barrel, and in the middle of its chest is a spigot, and it says "Kegbot" across its chest. And there's arrayed on a little counter in front of it are just a bunch of steins. No, it's just standing there. As you get closer, within 10 feet of it, it turns to face you, and there's this just like Thomas the Tank Engine terrible face on the front of it. Just mechanical and just like in that eerie valley, and it just says, "Welcome to the carnival. Would you like a beer?"
And is that a no? It doesn't do anything. You can see on the other side of it, there is a centaur. Again, just standing quietly, swaying to the music. And it looks like he's behind a concession stand. Next to... No, it's an open concession stand. There's racks of, like, food and packaged treats and stuff like that behind him. And right next to him, there is a large bin, a large open-topped box, and it's very clearly labeled. It says, "Just drop things in, don't touch the cube, will melt you." That's this box here. And you can see, just looking in over the top, you can see it's like a jello-y substance on top. It's clear and whitish, translucent, and inside it there's all manner of garbage, several in assorted stages of absorption and decay. Every now and then you just have to apply some fire to burn them back down to a manageable size. Yeah, he's zoned out. Yeah, just zoned out. Yep, it's an actual centaur. Yeah. His he just sort of absent-mindedly, as if like this is, oh yeah, we shake hands, and then as soon as you let go, his hand just drops back to his side and he starts swaying to the music again. From where you are, it's like a beaded curtain separating this area from the rest of the big top. And you can make out these like glowy prismatic lights coming in from the other side. All right, give me perception. Just Maladrak's peeking in. Everybody else is behind him, so just Maladrak. All right. The lights are dancing, but you can, from what you can see, the big top is practically full. Every seat has got a person in it. The benches are crowded. In some cases, people sitting on other people's laps. Almost everyone that was in the circus has filled the big top tent. And in the middle of it, there's some creatures, but the light is getting in your eyes. It's hard to see what's going on there. There's bleachers and chairs and bodies. Bleachers and chairs and people. They're not dead. They're just all sitting very quietly, rocking to the music. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, give me a stealth roll as you move in. Okay. So Tur steps in, and like her first steps are like turning your ankle on like a somebody's toy, some kid's toy that they left on the ground, and just that reflexive profanity that tends to spew from your mouth as you like trip and stumble and bump into something. Yeah, exactly that. You're just ow fuck, and you're like, okay, shh, shh, shh. And you look around, and no one has responded to you. No. Okay. So as you sneak forward a bit more, you can start making out what's in the center of this big top. There is a hulking brute of a humanoid, easily 10 feet tall, with its big hands pounding on a big drum in the middle of the room. Surrounding it are 6 smaller creatures, goblins by the look of them, playing. 2 of them playing stringed instruments, 2 of them playing horns, 2 of them playing like squeeze boxes, and they're all playing this music, and the crowd is just rocking along to it. Yeah. No, they're each of them playing an instrument. Yeah. Playing instruments. Give me a perception check, all 3 of you, please. All right. Maladrak and Petra, you manage to hear over the music a voice. Old, almost a wheezing voice. Not all the seats are full. We need to get out them all. Everyone needs to be here. Go. You and you and you. Transform and go and collect them. Well, you hadn't peeked in before, so you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But what you can do is give me a perception check for peeking in. And as you peek in, what you see is in the middle of the ring. The first one was your the 9 was your roll. Oh, okay. So you peek in and you can't really make past the bleachers and the stuff. The giant has shuffled around and moved a little bit, but you do notice the drumming has stopped. The music changes a little bit. It's no longer the drumming sound, but it's still an enchanting melody. And you start hearing the heavy, heavy footsteps of this giant moving towards you. Okay, give me a stealth. Okay, Petra, what are you doing? Okay, give me a stealth. Okay, and Tur, what are you doing? You have now. Okay, give me a stealth, please. Okay. The giant passes through, big hands empty, skidding around. Behind it are 2 huge scorpions. And it walks right past you. And the lot of them, you hear them thumping their way, stomping and skittering their way out of the tent. They're both like hiding under the centaur. It's just a beaded curtain, so it always swings closed. Yeah. So you peek through. Give me perception. So you make out in the center of the room this hooded figure. He's got a big hunched back, misshapen, a big red hood hanging over his face, a wand in each hand, and he's just like conducting the goblin orchestra. It is indeed. you would be firing through people. He's got 3/4 cover from your, like, coming in, and there's bleachers. The room does slope down towards the middle, but there are bleachers built up to about 6 feet height, right at the edges here. So it's 6 feet, and then it goes down towards the center of the ring. And he's standing at this northern tip of it. So he's distracted. I would say this bench right down here. Give me another stealth roll. Oh yeah. She peeks through and you just hear her whisper, "That motherfucker." All right. No, I was rolling at disadvantage. He's got a 4 because he's distracted. Yep. So Tur has now crawled through the curtain. Or rather, under the edge of the curtain. It's got like about a foot gap at the bottom, so it's not hanging in the mud. She's crawled underneath it without disturbing it. Okay. Okay, give me perception. She's starting to crawl through the crowd. You're doing better than her stealth, so you can see her crawling through the crowd and like positioning herself behind a bench and getting ready, getting her bow in position. Oh. I just realized the scale is off. I gotta shrink you guys. Yeah. That's accurate. There we go. It's almost hard because you keep hearing the kegbot going. Every time one of you passes within 10 feet of it, it goes, "Would you like a beer? Is that a no?" And this metallic dragon is like clanking back and forth inside of its cage. On the upside, the noise also slightly disguises the lot of you. Alright, give me a stealth, please. Wow. So attempting to crawl through the beaded curtain, some of it actually like snags on the back of your armor, and you're like, you start pulling, and it's like you hear like creaking noises, and then there's a loud pop, and a whole bunch of the beads rattle back and forth, and the curtain just shakes itself back and forth, and you now have like a string of Mardi Gras beads hanging down to your ankle. He doesn't notice you. He is full. He got a 1. He's fully engaged in his orchestrating. Yeah, you managed to like pry them loose. Like, it's a fairly sturdy string of beads, but you've. It's based off of a curtain at a restaurant that I actually went through where it was steel wire and steel beads, and I damn near strangled myself on it. Yeah. I don't know why they thought having a beaded curtain was a great idea, but it's heavy as fuck to walk through. All right, so that's Maladrak is in position, Tur is in position. Petra, what are you doing? Okay. All right. Tur? I can't really tell from there, no. Mm-hmm. So you're attempting a trick shot to make him try and drop a weapon? You're disarming with a ranged weapon? I mean, I'll let you try. All right, go for it. Let's go to initiative, shall we? No, that's all individual. Petra, what was yours? 9? Okay. Maladrak, you're up first. Oh yeah, no, she like stood up. Thunk. He just like it missed him, so he just hit the ground in front of him, and he just looked over his shoulder. He's like, "No, no, this is not acceptable." And he looked back over this way, and he's like, "Keep playing." And I'll give him a perception now that he's focused. No, he does not notice. He's just looking in this direction. He's looking this way. Does not see you, but is looking this way. It is 3 feet high, so you could get, if you're laying on your stomach, you get full cover. If you're standing, half. Yep. So if you go there and take a knee, you got 3/4. If you lay down, you got full cover, standing half.
Goblin keeps playing, Goblin keeps playing, Goblin keeps playing. Petra. Mm-hmm. From here, you'd be firing through people at him. You can fire directly at the goblins. Okay. That is a hit. Okay, so you got your cover. That's Petra. Give me a second here. I'm just going to color code these little suckers. Thought you did. Okay. So we're at red, there's nothing. Blue. So blue takes the arrow and he's looks at you, drops his little squeeze box, pulls a dagger from his belt, and goes, ah! And it runs towards you at top speed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He gets to you. It's all he does. Orange keeps playing. Tur. Ooh, sorry, one last thing. Petra, just before the goblin gets to you, it like dives into the bleachers. Okay. Does not do a great job of hiding. Tur. No, he's looking over at you lot, and he yells at the goblin, "No, come back! Keep playing!" Yes. Yes. He got a 5 on his stealth, so roll higher than 5 for perception to see where the goblin is. You might have lost sight of him. You know, there's a crowd. Just. But he's got about 3/4 cover because of all the people around him. Almost like he did it on purpose. Yep. You can just drop your bow and grab your mace. Yep. So I think
I think the distances are off. Yeah, because each of these squares is a 10 by 10 square now. 5, 10. You can still make it to him, no problems though. Yeah. Yeah. Just if you measure something, just essentially double it. Oh, hell yeah, he does. Yeah. You hit him, he's like, ah! The conductor. All right. He screams at the goblin, no, come back! You have to keep playing! And then he goes,
right, one of you will join the orchestra.
And it's going to be 1 and 2 is Petra, 3 and 4 is Tur, 5 and 6 is Maladrak. So Tur, he is firing a wand at you. Note you need to make a saving throw. I have to look it up. I'm sorry. It's versus polymorph. All right. It's a wisdom saving throw. It's 13 is the DC. $13 is the DC. There you go. So he one of the wands fires a beam at you, and you just it hits you, and you start feeling a change overcoming you, you're shrinking even smaller, and you're like, nope, 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 nope. Ugh. You force your will upon it and manage to resist it. And as a bonus action, there are now 3 of him. Maladrak. So you don't have to pick a color, just any attack against him, ranged or melee, is at disadvantage. Okay. Oh, wow. Not only does it hit, but it crushes the goblin, breaking the violin that it was playing, smashing it into the ground. The goblin hits. It's just green and black blood bursting out of its body, and the violin's just smashed on the ground. And the conductor's all 3 of the conductors look at you and go, no! And the music stutters for a moment, and then the rest of them keep playing.
No, you will join us. You will join the circus, and all of you will be under my control. You will be applauding for me.
Yeah. The green goblin keeps playing. The purple goblin keeps playing. Although the purple goblin is like looking at the yellow goblin and looking at the conductor and looking at you, and it's like it's playing the violin, but it's like not looking like it's happy, and it's just out of melee reach, so it like edges away from you. Petra. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you'll need to come down over to here to get a line on him. I need it to be at disadvantage. Yeah. That is a miss. Yeah, it would say right on it. Yeah. So no, not thaumaturgy. It's an action. Don't disrupt my music. All right. Red Goblin's playing. Blue Goblin is attacking Tur. $15. As 4 points of slashing damage from its little scimitar. Orange Goblin is still playing the music. Tur, you're up. Yeah, no, he's got better armor than that. Sorry. All right. The conductor. He's like, no, you've ruined enough of this. You are the cause of this. You will suffer. And he calls into existence surrounding Tur, clawing up from under the ground, which you see first is a white glove, and then a ruffled frill around it, reaching up into like a white and black sleeve, and slowly you're surrounded by 3 mimes that climb up out of the ground, and they all converge on you. So that's a wisdom saving throw, please. Mm-hmm. You it like mimes. Nothing. And he's like, no! And as he does that, the after he casts the spell, the images of him shuffle around and spread out a little bit. Oops. Maladrak. Which one did you hit? So you smashed this purple one, and it's badly injured. Like you broke its collarbone, and oh, 6. I'm sorry. I thought you said 6. I thought you said 6 damage. No, that's a miss. He like sidesteps, and he's like just playing this violin. He's like, no. He's like ducking around, trying to avoid you, but still playing. Okay, green continues playing but moves away. Purple tries to get away. You can do an attack of opportunity. Oh, that's a hit. And you break its arm as it's doing, and it drops the violin. As it does, the music stutters to a stop. There's with just 3 of them left playing music. It's not enough. It's discordant. The melody's not making sense anymore. And you hear a couple, huh? What? From the seats around you. Petra. Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me a persuasion check. You over here, as you're moving towards the thing, you hear a couple. Is this part of the show? What's going? Okay. Some confused voices back and forth. Blue Gobbo attempts to kill Tur with a 23. That's a hit. 3 points of slashes. Yeah. Orange sees that the music is broken, drops his accordion, grabs his scimitar, and moves forward to attack Maladrak. That's a 12. All right. Tur. Tur. You are up. No, but it was enough of a natural smash to just pin this goblin to the floor with a loud crunching sound. Its neck and head are all twisted at a very wrong angle, and it's dead on the floor. Okay. All right. The conductor goes, no, you're ruining it. You're ruining everything. Fine, we'll do it the Ugly way. And the three figures that are now the conductor turn to face each other and touch their wands to each other, and you can see a charge starting to build. Yeah. Scorpion, Giant, done, Maladrak. Okay. Not only did you kill that goblin, but you can continue your strike with your speed flail automatically throwing a burst of speed that gives you a second attack. You can still do your movement in between attacks, so absolutely. Okay. Still at disadvantage, though. Yeah. But that is a hit. And as you do, you hit him. Two of the images just disappear. He is injured, and there is a concussion of energy that blows out from him that covers almost the entirety of the inside of this arena area. Give me a dexterity saving throw, please. Ouch. Oh, well, shit number there. 6 points of force damage, and you are knocked prone. Let me just make a save for the gobs. And the goblins are all blasted as well. He kills one. 2, 3. Most of the goblins that were in here, except for these two were knocked all the way back. Oh yeah, and you're also knocked back 5, 10 feet. These goblins were blasted up against the ring, and you heard bones cracking. The other ones were smeared across the floor. There's nothing left of them. Green Goblin isn't as cool as his actual namesake. Does full tilt goodbye. As he runs out of the ring, you hear, "You terrible master, I'm gone!" And red, similarly, up and over this side, just up through the crowd. You see the conductor fall to his knees. No! No! Petra. Give me another persuasion, please. The show's over. Oh, okay. There's like some half-hearted applause, and then the people in the front row like get up and start filing out, and the conductor starts screaming, "No, no, stay and watch, stay and watch! It's mine! It's all my show!" To do like a very convincing time for y'all to leave. That was your action. All right, Tur, you're up. That is a hit. It's like, no, no, no. As you say that, he flips back his hood. Let's see if we can find this guy here. Where'd he go? Okay, I gotta jump screens real quick. Sorry for the delay. It's anticlimactic, but it's almost there. The conductor throws back his hood, and the cape falls to the ground, and you can see this big musical contraption on this old man's back. And you remember it was the old man that had been kicked to the ground by the barker when you first came in to the circus. He's like, no, no, it was my revenge, and you ruined it. You all ruined it. I was going to make him pay. I was going to make them all pay. And at that moment, coming in from the back of the circus tent is the barker that you saw at the very front. Oh my God, Jenkins! I can't believe you were going to do this to us. And Jenkins looks back at the bar and goes, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for these pesky adventurers. And the Barker and the security guards come in and take custody of Jenkins. And he turns to you and goes, I can't believe it. Who would have thought all this time it was Jenkins causing all these problems? We'll figure things out, folks, and we'll figure out how to get you home somehow. I'm just so grateful that you were here to help us. You're a blessing. You're a blessing on all of us, really. Please, we'll find you a tent until we get this sorted. No, but I believe Marjorie's going to work something out. She's got a lot of answers. And let's put a pin in it there, because it is 9 o'clock. Thanks, Scoobs! Oh, it was so hard to hang on to that for the length of this. That whole build-up for this one terrible punchline. No. That is it, indeed. So, with Jenkins being captured and Marjorie to consult, you find out that he had somehow managed, with the aid of an artifact, the thing strapped to his back, to shift the entire circus into an alternate plane. And with some work and a little bit of understanding and a little bit of research, Marjorie is able to answer the right questions now that you know what to ask, and you are able to unwind the magic that the musician Jenkins inflicted upon the circus and return everyone back to whence they came, allowing yourselves to be headed back to the Three Apple Inn, where you could be feted and celebrated by all the townsfolk. Prizes to be awarded by the Barker and Marjorie on the morrow. Thank you all so much for playing around. And we did it. We had a full session right down to the clock. Button time, 3 hours. So that's where I'm going to press the big red button and say goodbye to the internet for tonight.